You're listening to Santos Bonacci, live on Syncretism, here on criticalmassradio.co.uk. As above and so below is the holy science you need to know, astrotheology, because now it's our turn. You're listening to Kate Of Gaia on Critical Mass Radio. The game is up. Now it's our turn.
And welcome to Friday night Syncretism with Santos Bonacci, and yours truly sitting in co-helm, Kate Of Gaia. Wow, what an awesome now. Yeah, boy, oh boy. Of course, perfect timing. Phone going off in the background as always. Anyway, yeah, we have. We had Rory called in last night, Santo, and I wanted to touch on this before we got rolling, and. I'm waiting for him to call in so I can see him on the board and he can share his little adventure today. Oh, let me see. Did I get him? There he is. So we'll bring him in now. Little adventure, and you know, it's been a while since I talked to Rory. He called in last night, of course, as you know, standard protocol for everyone to. I've got court tomorrow. I better phone in and find out if there's something else I need to know. So, isn't it fun that? You know, isn't it fun that how many of you got out there waited till the last fucking minute to get your school projects together? Come on, put your hands up. You know, it's like night before and you're panicking with your, you know, you're sweating and you're running and you're shitting yourself and you're this, that, and the other. And of course, I always got an A+. Didn't matter to me. Well, a lot of times I would do it ahead of time and just tweak it as I went, but that was me. But yeah, there was lots of times I left shit to the last second, and yeah, it's kind of a Gemini trait, so I learned to break that one easy. But I think there's going to be a slight difference in Rory's tone tonight as opposed to last night, and I should have downloaded that and, you know, snipped some clips out of it just for those beautiful moments, Roro, you know, just to show you how powerful you are. Now, here, before we get going here, this is why I want you in early, and well, we'll set the show with a bang here, and then Santo can take us to the stars. What Rory did, and Rory's going to confirm this. I'm going to, without knowing any of the details, I just know he went in and got escorted out. So here's what I want people to focus on right now, because I'm going to tell you this. A piece of paper with writing on it is not going to save you. A piece of paper with legal writing on it is not going to save you, and it's going to keep you in the matrix. There are three things I talk about. It's actually only two, but it comes out in a trinity. But I do like to share this just one more time because it's starting to sink in. With court, there are only three things you need to worry about: presumption, assumption, and intent. You see, the presumption is a forethought. The assumption is the contract. And the intent, well, gosh darn, if you can rule the assumption and presumption, you can pick whatever intent you want out of your little bag of tricks, right, Black Magi? That's what I thought. So I don't play their games. But the most important thing here for people to get, no amount of paperwork I can put together, and it's some dangerous stuff to this system. It's the most dangerous stuff on the planet as far as I can tell. And I'm speaking from experience. I'm not speaking because it's like, oh, look at me. No. Listen, I don't give a shit about me. I'm here for truth, and that's it. I'm a truth whore. Get over it. And I like to deal up hardcore truth porn, dancing pole and everything if you want. But the point I'm trying to make here is very simply this. If you don't know who you are inside, how the hell are you going to show that outside? And I do want to share a question that I got. I did try to answer it, but it didn't. I'm gonna show you a prime example. I'm not going to worry about the names or anything. It's not important, but this is a perfect example of everything. And I answer it, but of course, for some reason, apparently, I'm blocked for messaging people that aren't my friends. So, but anyway, gosh darn, fascist book indeed. I sent them a little note today too because I was in the mood for it. But here's a question, and I really get where it's coming from, and this is a contrast. I'm not picking on anybody here. And like I did last night, I wanted people to pick out where these individuals were. Or carry out the dead, fist fight, or hold the light. And as we found out, there was only one fist fight, and the rest were all hold the light, which is perfect on my page. That's what I want. I don't need the emotional diatribes. I don't need the emotional drabbles. I don't get into dramas. I don't give a fuck about what anybody else says, thinks, or does. I don't care what they say about me. It's only me that I'm concerned with here. I can only be offended if I agree to be offended. And fuck you. You don't have that amount of power over me. I'm God. Really, I am. So are you. So start adopting that. But here is the question or comment that came in. Hi, Kate. I'd like to know if you tell people to cut up their IDs so they are untouchable by the government. Do you also tell them to not pay their bills so they can be alive? I am a concerned family member and need answers. Well, okay. One, I do not tell anybody to cut up their IDs. I tell people that's what I did. And then I've explained all of the things around that. I won't tell anybody what to do because the instant I tell you, go and do this, I say go plant seeds. No harm, no foul in planting seeds, right? But when people, come looking for a savior, and you give them an answer, because it's right according to you, but if the person receiving the answer isn't in the right headspace, something fucks up, and I guarantee it will. Who are they going to blame? Well, they come. See, that's the program. It's circular. It's a serpent eating its own tail, right? Well, Kate's full of shit because I did what she said, and I got put in jail. Yeah, no, you interpreted what you thought I said, and you interpreted what you thought my experience was. That's why I've said, people that I used so-and-so's process and it didn't work. He says, no, you didn't. You used your interpretation of so-and-so's process based on your experience, which is obviously not as perfect as the one that used it, you see? So how can you claim to use anyone or anything's process? If you get the ideas, because it's the only thing I'm interested in sharing at these tables is concept. I need people to see the concept, and then they work it into their own reality. I'm not going to say 1 + 1 = 2, boys and girls. You fucking did that in school. Okay? You want to play the nanny wipe your bum game? Well, fuck off. Don't come near this table. You're not ready for it. Okay? And I'm being very blunt for a reason, because I want people to go, oh, wait a minute. Start crying if you have to. I got some Kleenex here. Listen. See, I got knock yourself out, and when you finally come to terms with your slovenly self, then we can chat, because I'm not going to sit here and deal in emotional drivel. I talked about that last night. I've been there. I've been up and down the highest lows. And Rory, boy, you see me at some of my lowest lows, didn't you? So did Santo. Holy shit, is a whiny bitch. But anyway, getting back to the second point of this, I'm okay with me. Fuck, I can see my contrasts. That's what I do. Do you also tell them not to pay their bills? Fuck no. I don't tell them that. If you don't want to pay your bills, and you don't know who you are, well, then you got some homework to do. I stopped paying a lot of things because it was all fraud to me. But then I knew that, and I didn't just read it on somebody else's piece of paper and said, oh, well, look, I've got my or somebody gave me my toilet paper to wipe my bum with. Maybe they'll wipe my bum for me, too, and go into court for me and all that. No, sorry, fuck you. Grow up. Grow a pair. Okay, so I'll get back to my Facebook page here. And there is a point to all of this, guys, because what Rory's going to share is exactly what I'm talking about. There is not one single piece of paper on this planet that is going to save you. The only thing that is going to save you is when you get the concept, when you empower yourself with the intent. If you want your mote ions back, if you want your ability to cast spells, then you better get out of the contract that owns all of your power. And that's the whore of Babylon. If you are in agreement with the whore in any way, shape, or form, then you are under contract and you have no power because you've given it all away. Me, I've claimed it all back. Yeah, sure, I use a little thing here and there inside commerce, but it's a different intent that I have. Well, gosh darn, got to eat, and gosh darn, I got to stay on the air. So these are, it's the intention. It's not about going out and profiting. Right now, it's just about sheer and utter survival. Just at that 0 point of perfect balance of I am not going. Listen, guys, I could go out tomorrow and get all the idea I needed and get back into. I know how to create a business. Okay, I know how to create money. I used to do that very well, not to the degree that others do. But it was 4 years ago that I threw away a very successful business because I could not do it anymore. All right? That was my choice, though. So, no, I won't tell you to cut up your ID. I'll suggest it's probably a good idea if you start waking up and knowing who you are, and the instant you go get the ID that you're going to cut up, and I've said it often that if you can't handle the big thing, grab an old library card, something that's expired, and get your intent into it. It's the intent I'm after, not your fucking ID. Jesus Christ. Seriously, guys, okay? And this is for anyone new at the table. Welcome to this table. You're going to get some hardcore stuff, and it won't be Alex Jones style, okay? He's a pussy as far as I'm concerned. But they're all pussies. But anyway, well, I can't handle the truth, so I'm going to keep the fear porn going because I really like the meat stick game and getting my face filled with gluttony. But anyway, bottom line is this. You don't need a piece of paper. All you need is to know who you are. And here's the magic, and Rory's going to share the magic with us right now. The magic is simply this, knowing who you are, and it shows. You don't need a piece of paper. So my guess is, Rory, when you went in today, you didn't file a whole lot of paperwork. You didn't do anything at all. You just, when they called out the name, I don't know this, so I'm just going to tell you what I see. You walk in, they call the name. You go, I'm the witness, and I'm a witness to the fraud perpetuated through the legal name, and I'm holding the prima facie evidence in my hand. To which they would say, "Get the fuck out of here." And so, why don't you tell everybody what actually happened? That's what I think happened, but what happened?
It actually happened just like that. We had to find out where where this court case was actually going to be held at here in Grand Rapids. And so when we got there, we went to the information desk, and they told us to go to the 8th floor. I didn't ask. I had Carl ask for me. And then we went up to the 8th floor, and then there was nothing. So we went back down, and then Carl went up to the clerk, and then we found out where it was going to be at. And so we were on the 7th floor, courtroom B, and we waited in the courtroom. There was a few other cases that were being called up, and then it almost seemed like after we sat down that the judge got up and took a break, which was fine, because I had filed, I know paperwork, the intent was on my paperwork, the paper was there, it was never brought up, I just went in there as the witness. When the name was called, I went up and said, I am the witness to the fraud regarding the name that you are seeking, and seeking to aid and abet me, incriminating myself via fraud by claiming to be said thing. And he interrupted me, and I read it again, because he was asking me if I was the name, and then I repeated what I said, and then I had the birth certificate in my hand holding it up to him so he could see the proof of the fraud, that it's owned and registered, the name. And then he says, well, we can't do business today. And it was just a very, 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 now that I look at it now, it looked like a very nervous, evil, kind of a laugh, I guess. And that's kind of what I wanted people to laugh. I wanted to see something, and I saw that after he said we couldn't do business. And then here comes the deputy escorting me out of the courtroom, off, allegorically, like you say, off the boat, and the boat of the dead. And then we went down to the first floor and then out the doors until they didn't want me on their ship. I was too much light. That's how it's working.
And just so people know, that deputy or deputy sheriff or sheriff, whatever the case may be, was not there for any other reason than to protect you on your way out. They were making sure that you got out, not to get you out, but that you got out safely.
Exactly, because the whole place is full of murderers. And me and Carl were talking about that. I said, my God, Carl, the whole fucking place. I mean, when you say presiding judge, and they're presiding, they're going to kill you. And when you look at it, how we had the protection going out of the court all the way down to the doors, out to the outside, we were in absolute death. That's the only way I could, now that I see it now. Yeah, I see it very clear.
Let's talk about how you felt last night, and how do you feel now?
I feel fine. I think I was feeling some primordial freaking nervousness or something. It was.
Oh yeah.
It was just a little. Yeah. It was definitely an old feeling. It felt old. I can't explain it.
Yeah. Well, that's why I said to you, and I said to everyone last night, listen, you're going to experience these emotions. Just get ready for it. Look at them for what they are. Feel through it. If you want to write scripts, then write them and get through them. All manner of stuff, and then just nullify them.
That's what I was worried. That's what I was worried about, Kate. I didn't mean to interrupt you, honey.
No, that's fine.
The reason I didn't know if I should script. I wanted a script in mind when I would stop. I'm like, I keep saying, people I hear don't script, and I wanted to script the right thing. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to have the right outcome, and I wanted to, of course, make my presence known that I am a living.
Well, I'll tell you right now, Rory, your presence of mind in what you just said to me tells me all I need to know about. You're not a script writer. You're actually looking at it from a neutral position, because you don't want a script means that you're not going to. You see?
Right.
So
I was very calm when I got up there. I was very calm.
Excellent. Well done.
It was. Yeah. Thank you very much, Kate. I love you very much.
Love you too.
Wow.
I'm just going to run past everybody again. If you must go into court and you got something, it applies to anything. I don't care what it is. If you walk in and have a copy of your birth certificate with you, or some government document, whatever the case, it doesn't really. Birth certificate's the best, because that's the prima facie original sin proof. It says, I'm the witness to this name fraud being perpetrated against me, and I'm holding the prima facie evidence of that fraud in my hand. Bye. Have a nice day. That's it. How much paperwork did you throw at them? Anything? No?
Nah, I didn't throw any.
You didn't need to. You just proved. That's why I want to call tonight's show. Look, Mom, no paper. Anyway, so there you go. Let's get Santos' thoughts on this, seeing as it is his show that I've corralled for the first 15 minutes. So 20 minutes. Sorry, Santos.
No, well done, Kate. This is it. Yeah, bring out these examples of victory and success, and let's burn Rome down to the ground. Rome has to be just burned to the ground. Every little last vestige of her blood-shedding, murderous, filthy schemes. And I love that, Why should we do business with these pricks? They are a coven of witches, a den of thieves. They are animalistic, vicious entities, stupid, morons, obsolete, arse-wipes, criminals, pedophiles, people traffickers. Why the hell even bother going to a church, to their churches, their courts? But well done. Yeah, go in there and say, listen, you bunch of fuckwits, we're not doing business today because we are. Bye-bye.
Yeah, and I'd love to have seen that guy, or it was a girl? Female judge?
It was a guy. It was a guy judge. His name was Fred Hartley.
Yeah, indeed. I love the 7th floor B, which B is 13th warrior. So of course God, as the 13th warrior, had to be that. It's perfect. Perfect. I mean, it's a big rollover on the system, and all it's doing is showing the power of knowing who you are. You see, here's the joy of it too, because people say, "Well, what happens if they come after you with a bench warrant?" All the. What do you mean? If you've already shown that you know who you are, let me guess. If I knew that you knew who you were, I'm not going to go anywhere near you, because I know I can't get jurisdiction, and if I try, I'm guilty of premeditated murder. If a human being can be a person, so then can a person be a human being. So if you kill the legal person, you by definition and interpretation of the mirror of their laws, you have killed a human being. So that's premeditated murder, with intent to kill if anyone comes up and asks you for ID. And if you give ID, well then they've actually murdered you, legally. So every cop that's ever asked for any single piece of identification, any judge, any lawyer, are all guilty of premeditated murder. That's maybe a little worse than high treason, maybe.
What a filthy, dirty, corrupt system. I mean, okay, fair enough that it happened. Okay, we were ignorant. We all bought into it. We all were greedy. We wanted to do the commerce with the whore of Babylon. But now that honourable people awoken, as the scriptures have declared that they would awake, the dead shall rise, present themselves in courts, just as well, I mean, today's positive outcome was lovely, but let's think of people like Dean Clifford. I mean, sure, he doesn't use the same technology, and he's gonna, when he gets released, he's gonna come straight into your arms, Kate, and say, all right, what do you do? So he doesn't have to go back to jail again. But the thing is, at least Dean is trying to be honourable in the system. How dare they put people like Kerry Marks and Mickey Oliar, my friends here in Melbourne, in prison? How dare they? This is pure people trafficking. What for? For lucre. The fact that honourable people are standing up, they should shut up shop. Just the sight of honourable people turning up in their courts, they should say, this is a message, this is a signal that we need to stop now. And yet, they throw, perhaps after today's court case, that judge would have probably sat through another 10 where he would have thrown 1 or 2 in prison for smoking a weed, or whatever, or some parking offence, and didn't get the message. They're still continuing to play this game.
Well, I have a question for Rory. Rory, how many people were in the court when you were there that witnessed what you did?
There was one girl there. There was a few people there. I'm going to say at least. I'm going to say 7. I'm not quite sure. I was more focused on what I was going to be doing. But it just seemed like they kind of went through those people, and then the judge took a break, of course. But there's only, I think there was one girl that was in there, and she seemed like she didn't communicate very well. But anyways, that don't matter. But there was just one girl there, and as I was saying the whole thing, it was me, the judge, the clerk, that girl, and my beloved partner, Carl. And that was it.
Well, you got some people that got to see some magic, and I'm sure even the clerk's going to go, what just happened?
Well, first I didn't know. I'm sorry, Kate. When we didn't know, I didn't know where the fuck to go, for one thing. Okay, I've never fucking been to court just for my divorce, and anyways, that's neither here nor there. I didn't know where this damn case was going to be fucking heard at. So I go, like I said, we went upstairs, but then we went to the clerk, and I didn't know if I should talk to her or not. I just said, hey, I just need to know what Carl had asked. I said, just slid over to me some paperwork to sign, and I said, I told Carl I'm not signing any of that shit. I said, I'm here as the witness, and that's fucking it. And then we went up, and then that's the rest is history. That's the rest is how you.
There's the Rory I know. I love it. All right, who lit that volcano up? And we got Chris in the call, and I think you got Maggie in as well. So sorry, Sandra, if you're into it, I think we've got some more fun stories just to,
please, I'm here for the sole purpose of bringing Rome down. So if this is bringing Rome down, bring it on.
Oh, yeah. Well, what else do we think I do all day? So all I do is I plan up things to take out the the Romulans. And by the way, anyone looking for a savior and want to cling on to me? Well, I don't have any alliances with the Klingons either, okay? Just letting you know. Fair enough. Christopher, are you there?
Yes, I am, and I'm not here with Maggie yet. She's on her way home. Oh. She's going to be available in about 15 minutes. But I just wanted to make a comment about is it Roy that's talking about his experience?
Rory.
Yes, it's Rory, yeah.
Rory, okay. Yes, I saw the posts. I got the impression that he slayed his own dragon there. The nervousness that he had the day before and then doing what he did. It's like there was a slaying of the fears, or the dragon is what I call it, and that's the impression that I got anyway.
Oh, yeah.
As well as the outside,
Well, that's why I keep telling everybody I was born in the year of the dragon, and it takes one to slay one. So what I do is I got people set up with the right tools to take out a dragon. How would I take me out? Well, I take me out very carefully. So there you go. It's beautiful. How do you feel today, Rory? You picked door number 1, and you got the grand prize.
I know. I feel absolutely wonderful. I mean, I didn't really know how to react. I walked out of there very calm when we were going down. I mean, we're on the 7th floor, and as we're going down, that deputy is looking right across from me, and we never made really like quick eye contact. Really, it was very nonchalant, quick and look away. It was more I was just kind of taking in the moment of what actually was transpiring, what was happening. And then once I realized, oh yeah, they're fucking getting me the fuck out of here for sure, this, and then out I go, and I said, Carl, I love you, let's get in the fucking car and let's go.
And most importantly, and I do want to stress this, guys, because we got to lose this vengeful streak that we can get into.
Yeah,
we got to lose it because I'm gonna, and I've said this before, even about the judge that bowed to me. As criminal as he is, there's still honor there. So I choose to look at both sides of it. The entities that are still wanting to play in that part of the game, well, they're just going down deeper and harder. So let them go. It's free will choice. Let them go. The simple truth is the system is coming down, and all of those that have been wrongfully harmed will be let go and will be taken care of accordingly by those that harmed them. This is how things get back into balance, So most importantly, there's only one thing that's going to stop you from getting into download range, and that is emotion. Only in the stillness and in the peace of neutrality will you be able to connect. It's one of the reasons why, for me, it's so easy to knock me off a download, because it's tenuous to begin with, and because I'm open to all things, that's what happens. You get the good and the bad with that, right? Because when you open up to all things, that's where the downloads happen, but you're also open up to everything happening around you as well as part of that equation. So for me, that's why I like things as quiet as I possibly can. When I'm in download mode, that's why I need to write just by myself, kind of thing. But what a difference. I was going to ask you if the deputy sheriff had anything to say, but I'm sure he was probably wondering what the hell just happened as well. But most importantly, I want everyone to know that deputy sheriff was acting in full peace officer capacity, literally as a provost marshal, okay, to make sure that Rory and Carl got out of the building safely. It wasn't about escorting them out to hurt them, no, it was quite the opposite, because they were dealing with this court was now dealing with 2 living beings. And when you know who you are, see, this is the thing. We can get all mad and blame and this and that and the other. We've all been through the mill to one degree or another. There's things that I wish I'd known then that I know now. However, it's irrelevant, because if the things I had not have experienced, and I went through some pretty nasty shit, okay, would not have given me this gift of what I'm sharing with everyone now. So go ahead, tell me it's evil. I'll tell you it's evil and good. And I'll tell you, I would not have got here without that experience. So I am not for one second going to turn around and go, bunch of assholes. Yes, they did something I didn't want to do, but here's the joy of the game. They're going to have to experience it from the mirror side. Fine. I just give them the steaming pile of dog shit back. Oh, and speaking of which, someone had directed me to a site today, something about Peace Society, whatever. And it was just another, what I saw it as was, finally, the overall consciousness is lifted to the level where people are finally waking up to they can step out of the corporation and all the rest of it, and blah, blah, blah. But, sorry guys, it was still trying to sell the same steaming pile of dog shit with a different wrapper on it, prettier bow maybe. Definitely an improvement over what it was, and I only see it as a mediocre step up for those that still aren't willing to step out on their own. So it's at least that leeway. For anyone that wants to watch it, I think it was Peace Society. Anyway, I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. I watched a little bit of it. But see, with me, I'm hardcore when it comes to the whore Babylon. If there's money in it, if there's commerce or anything of that nature, like this guy had said, well, you can get your own ID and you can, you can open bank accounts with it, you can get passports with it. And I'm thinking, yeah, okay, boy, That smells like the same steaming pile of dog shit with someone's sprayed some lavender or something on it, but it's still a steaming pile of dog shit. That's how hardcore I am. And the only reason I can find out what I have been finding out is because I am that hardcore. So if you're going to be serious about the truth and standing in it, well, then you better be serious about the truth and standing in it. And I will not yield from this position. I know I'm this one piece that I'm holding, I know I'm the only one on the planet holding it. Go ahead. Ask me if I'm going to give it up. No, I didn't think so either. We got Randy in the call as well, so let's have a free-for-all. Santo and Tony, you're in the call too. I'm sure you want to pop in with some thoughts on today's events.
I just got a quick question for Rory before anything else. What was the matter about? Was it just a traffic ticket or was it something else?
It was back city taxes.
City taxes? Oh my God!
Yep. I had been sending. Wow. What I had been doing is I had been sending him when they would send me. They would send me letters, and I would just send it right back to them. This has been going on for a little bit, unopened in return. This has been going on for quite some time, and so once I got the proper information to be able to take care of or to expose what the system is, and knowing who I am also, then I was able to go to court to do what I had to do today.
And for everyone listening, Rory, I want to remind everyone, Rory's been in the game for a while and has always had a good idea of who he was up to this point. Now he knows absolutely who he is. Okay? So,
yes.
We've been around, how long? We've known each other, about a year and a half?
It's a little longer than that. I've been listening to you since you were on that TNC
TNF.
radio.
Yeah, it's TNF
there you
radio,
go. Yeah, I listened to you way back then. I was hearing. I think I heard Santos, and then I heard you. And of course, my ear was tuned to you. I heard you were a
freak of nature.
Yeah, a lovely, beautiful human being that I wanted to be around. I came right there, even though there was times I was so fucking pissed at you. But yeah, I mean, literally, I was. But I love you, it's fascinating, absolutely fucking fascinating.
I'm not here to make friends, my friend. I'm here to make gods.
I know that, honey. I know that now. Yes.
Welcome back, God. About time you showed up.
Oh my goodness. It took me a minute to relax when I got home, but yeah, I'm fine. I smoked a lot of pot yesterday. I'm not gonna bullshit not one damn one of you. I fucking smoked a whole fucking eighth. So I was really puffing.
I was going to say, and the whole now that even makes last night more intense based on the gift. Wow. My chest was so happy this morning, but it's fine. It played out just the way it was supposed to play out, and that's perfect. What I told Carl. That's what I told the love of my life. I said, honey, it'll play out the way it's gonna play. And look at you, slam dunk, right?
Okay. Yeah.
I'm gonna tell everybody why it was a slam dunk, and it's really simple. And you don't need any paper for this either. Okay. I mean, some of the people. This is not your savior card, by the way. You got to know who you are to do this. Okay. This is Rory finally figuring it, and many of us figuring it out as to who we really are, and that when we say it, we mean it. So what witnesses is simply this: in Admiralty and common law. By the way, common is with my. It's French. Okay? Common with my law. What you're saying is you're God in common law. People keep asking me about this kind of law and that. Common law is not. It's not a written law. Okay? It's a commonly understood law, and it's the law of God. The law of one. Okay? So the witness is the only being that can be alive in both Admiralty and common in terms of their courtrooms. Okay, so when you walk into an Admiralty and claim to be the witness, you've automatically invoked yourself back to life. You're born again, and you are treated as a living being because only the accused or the defendant can be summoned. They summons the dead. They have to subpoena the living. So if you go in as a living witness to the fraud perpetrating, Well, not only have you invoked a common law court by coming back to life, now you have a voice, and they have to hear it, and they don't want to. That's why they get rid of you very quickly. And you're also presenting evidence to their fraud, which is not something they really want to see. Whoops. Well done, Rory. Well done. And that's, you're not the first one, right? This is I already knew this was a slam dunk. And it's that simple. And you didn't have to say a lot, did you?
No, I didn't. I didn't have to say it. I just had to remain calm and speak clearly into the microphone. Pretty much. That's it. The
best part is, as soon as you said you're the witness, that now became a court of record, so that's a seed in the belly of the beast. Thank you for planting that seed, Jack. Much obliged.
Yeah, it's a plan. That's what I said to... Yes.
Hey, Rory, can you please just repeat what you said in court? Because when you did say it, toward the very end, you broke up and I didn't hear it, and it'll be encouraging anyway. Please.
Okay, I'll repeat what I said. When they called my name, I was like one of the last people. There was one girl sitting there, but when they called my name, I of course stepped through the courtroom, and of course I realized, okay. When I sat there, I was like, okay, I know I'm not going to stand outside there. I actually got to walk in on this fucking ship, That's what it is, an allegory ship. And so I walked in on it, and went right up to the podium, and I immediately started saying, I am the witness to the fraud regarding the name you are seeking to aid and abet me into criminating myself via fraud by claiming to be said thing. And then the judge had interrupted me, and then I repeated the same statement all the way through. I didn't stop. I finished it. And then I had the birth certificate in my hand, and I said, this is proof of the fraud, that the name is owned and registered. Using the registered name is fraud. And then the judge tells me, looks at me with this really weird smirk on his face. It was strange. He just says, we can't do business with you today, but I'll have to ask you to leave my courtroom. And so then here comes the deputy, and then the rest is, like I said, fucking history.
Okay, now just to come back on that strange smirk that he gave you, okay, the energy that I got from you from that was simply this, is good. You know who you are, and this is why we got to stop beating up everybody and everything. Yeah, we'll have our rant fest and everything else, but remember this: we're all on the same team. We're all one consciousness, right? If you create an enemy outside of you, if you consider someone an enemy, what does that make you? It makes you an enemy as well. So I would highly recommend against that. Now, when you said about going on board the ship, this is a critical thing. You can walk off their ship as a living being, as a witness, completely immune. So you can walk anywhere in that courtroom as a living witness. They can't stop you. And you're not in their jurisdiction as a living witness. You create your own. You create your own common law. That removes all admiralty, assumption, presumption, intent. Gone. Bye, see you. Just like that. That was the one piece I was missing in the judge bows. I didn't know how to reverse the fraud at that time, or we wouldn't even be talking right now. I knew the name was a fraud, but I didn't know how the spirit contract worked. But I know how it works now, so the intent is all changed. This is why this is changing, because we're awakening to our own intent. We're awakening to this. It's not the paper that is the power, it is you. Just like the car isn't going to do anything until you get in and empower it. Put the mind in it, right? It's still a car. It's going to sit there and rust. Paperwork's nothing, right? I provide people with the tools to read so they can figure it out for themselves, and we do this show. It's not like I'm not dedicated. You know, we do this show 7 nights a week. You know, and I'm on Thursday afternoons with from 4 p.m. and with No Borders as well with Scottish Sovereign Gary. So he's been wanting to get me out there for a while. So I finally got that sorted out. So yeah, not like I don't have a big enough workload, but I'm going to do. And while we're at it, Chris, you're on this Sunday, so why don't you do a little plug for what your thing is about? Because I have to schedule it.
Say that again.
Your show on Sunday.
Yes.
Plug it.
Plug it. I'll be talking about how to unfuck yourself from the system. There are still people who are still kind of dabbling with W9s and W4s, 1099s or whatever. That's their path. I know that not all people can just dump everything and move over to this way of doing things. They have things they need to sort out. So my whole show is going to be about deconstructing all these bloody forms that people are bombarded with. It is actually very simple to put them in the bin or to just change them if one wants to, and I'll be going over how to do that.
And we always have the absolute truth on our side, knowing that all legal fictions, anything that's sent to us through the UPU, is pure fraud. Mail fraud, all levels of fraud, and of course it is premeditated with intent to kill, murder. Sorry, that's what it is. I'm just calling it what it is. That's why they have pre-sighting. To kill before killing, right? Pre-sighting before killing.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to go off now and see if I can get hold of Maggie. There's I think one of her merry men is on the line, actually. He is 406. I think that's Mike.
Oh, okay. Well,
although I'm not sure. So I think Maggie told me that you had spoken to him without really understanding that he was one of the guys she's been working with.
No, I think I have. I have talked. It's Mike, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mike, we've talked.
Okay. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, great. Good. Yeah, just one of the merry men from down here in Montana.
Okay. Well, I'm going to get Maggie on the line, so I'm going to call off and call back in. All right?
Give you a quick update. We've
come a long way, Mike. Mike, we've come a long way from the Montana Freemen, haven't we?
Yes, we have. Here we are.
Whole different game now. We're playing it right this time.
Yep, the last 2 days we've been to 2 sales, 2 foreclosure sales, and they canceled both of those. And so we went to the courthouse and started retrieving a bunch more fraudulent documents on a whole bunch more foreclosures that we're working on. And then that was in Hamilton, and then we went to Missoula today, and the sale was canceled there, and then we went to the Missoula courthouse and about 20 pages of documents.
You're not having much fun, are you?
That's been great. You'll down there. Just walk in there. Yeah, they'll tell you right what you need to get. You know, that's the right question.
Oh, can we have a great big fuck yeah?
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah. Oh, man. Santi, are you liking this or what?
Yeah, love it. Love it.
Oh, we're having fun.
I remember someone else who was playing his fiddle and dancing while Rome burned. His name was Nero. And he was having fun, you know. He was just sitting there fiddling away, and he was enjoying it and having a giggle, actually. Shame it didn't stay burned, really, but nonetheless, I shall nickname myself Nero and play my guitar and just listen to all this. It's fun.
Rome is burnt. Oh, man. Carry on, Mike. Just to let people know, I've got area code 757 and area code 661 in the call as well. But carry on, Mike. Let's hear about some Mike adventures.
Mike adventures. Well, I don't know too many Mike adventures to go with right now that I can think of, but we've just been stirring the pot here for a long time, and it looks like we're in the right direction now.
You got the right spoon.
Yeah, on several different things in the past, and we got the right spoon, like you say, right now, and it just looks like everything's falling together and falling apart at the same time.
Now we're talking singularity. Thank you. When it all comes together, it all falls apart.
Right. So we just got to keep being on these calls and doing what we do and staying after it and letting people know that we are the witness and we're here to stand up. And
Mike, can you give a little breakdown, just typically what you do? I know you've got a few people with you and Maggie's involved as well. If you could just give everyone that's listening just something, just of a typical what you guys do to go and stop a foreclosure.
We just have a few signs, and there's usually been maximum of 4 of us and we'll have the signs. And Maggie, she's gone in most of the time, and when she was in out of town, I went into the sale myself and objected quite often, and had the cops there, and they were really polite, and you should have seen their face though when we all said that we were the witness. They just said okay, and they just left. They didn't do anything, and this guy carried on with his sale, and we objected some more, and then the next day I went to the police station to get the police report, and there's a nice lady in there, and she said that she wanted my name, and I said I was the witness. And she said, well I can't use that. And I said, well, I'm pretty certain it should be on the report. So why don't you look it up? And so she went and looked it up. She's like, you could see the look on her face. It's like, So then we had to go to another office to, because she couldn't give it to me in case there was, some information that they didn't want out. So we had to go to another office and to get the paperwork, and went in there and give them the report number, and that's very important to have the report number. And then she wanted my name. I said I was the witness, and it was worth any amount of money to see the look on that woman's face that when she found out I was the witness. And I don't know why it was so shocking that it was something else to her. And she says, well, do you have an address? I said, no, I don't have one of those. And she says, well, how about a phone number? I said, no, I don't have that either. And I said, well, this was just before right after Christmas. And I said, well, how about we just, after the holiday gets passed, I'll just come back here and you'll have it here for me. She goes, oh, okay, that'll work. And we left. And I was down there yesterday, but I forgot the number, so I wasn't able to go to the police station, well, not the police station, but this other office to get that report. So next time I'm down in Hamilton, I will go to that office and get that report. I know there's not going to be much to it, but it'll just be fun to get it. And, go from there. So, at that one we actually videoed, and that's the first one we videoed at, and we've got one coming up Monday in Missoula, and the lady has actually, I've been in contact with her, but I used Maggie as kind of a second party and as a more credible person, and referred her to Maggie, and so we finally got a hold of her today after we'd gotten her paperwork, and she has actually put a restraining order against the bank itself. And I don't know how she got that accomplished, but Maggie, she's really excited about that and getting that going. And her sale is going to be Monday, and we're going to be there with, there'll be at least 4 of us there with signs and a video camera and just taking it all in and letting them know that we're there to object and getting the sale stopped. So that's what we're doing.
And just like that, that's the power of the living, because the dead can't hang around in the graveyard too long. They get scared off right quick. This is the power that we're wielding, and it's the intent of what we're doing that is carrying this forward. We're showing our intent via our actions. And really, that's the only thing that paper can be, is the conveyance of your intent. And what is on the paper better be what's in your heart and head, or it's nothing. That's how you cast spells, right? So, and that's what we're in a magic kingdom, so learn to be a good sorcerer, sorceress, wizard, wizardess, whatever the case may be. I just like to be a white key or a witch, right? So, it's a flex thing with me, you know me. So we have an ninja in to say hi.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me, Kate?
Oh, loud and clear, hon. Good to hear your voice.
Oh, yeah. It's been a while. I've been going to bed and sleeping. How about that? Yeah. Hi, everybody. Santos, Mike. I want to give a shout out to my girl in London, Telma. Love you, darling. Had a really great chat with Telma today, and got a cool buzz from that, and I think she did too, so that's nice. And otherwise, yeah, just loving the stories that are coming in. So cool to see people now really just walking in and taking control and walking out again. fantastic. Well done, Roro.
Row, row, row your boat gently down. Never mind.
Stream, indeed, yeah.
I think Rory made a few waves with those auras. Get it? Auras.
I was speaking to Roro a couple of days ago on the Skype chat, and I said to him when he mentioned where he lived, I don't think that's a secret. I'm sure it isn't. If I say that, I'm sorry. But he lives in Grand Rapids, and I said, "Now come on, what is rapids? Fast-moving water, truth." And we built this up. It was so full of intent, and I said, "Grand, fast-moving truth. Are you kidding? Are you not in the right place for what you're about to do?" And it was like, wow, yeah, and here we are, and it's so true. There you go.
Are we in a grand cross? Maybe that is what means by the Ra, Pi, deltas. Rapids. Phonics. Just saying, you got Ra, rapids, right? Ra, light of God. Pi, 3.142857 to infinity. And D, letter of both Western and Greek alphabets. And in the Greek, it's called delta, and it looks like a trinity. It's a triangle. Yeah. And we have a grand cross happening right now, as far as I know. Yeah, maybe. Always goes back to the stars.
You can't. It's you always say, Kate, isn't it? You can't make this shit up,
No, because we already did. We're just enjoying it now.
Yeah, on the way back. Yeah.
That's why I don't get stressed out, because I listen. Of course, we're going to create. Any good author will have the ending of their story first, and then they work their story to that, right? That's for me. I have to have the concept of the song, so I have the whole picture, which is the ending, and all I do is describe it. So any good author of any book will have the idea of what the culmination and the point of the book is going to be in their head first, and then they write to that. And that's what we're doing. As good creators, we had to write our ending first. It's glorious. It's going to be this big blissful thing, and then you had to write all the plots and all the rest of it as we breathed out as the one creating the grid. And here we are coming back towards 0 point and the endings that we have put in place all along the way. So it's beautiful. Makes sense to me, and it feels right. Just saying.
Well, that's the key, what you just said there about how it feels. That is, for me, how I live my life, on pure feeling. I very much go with the gut. I've been taught to do that from being a child. I'm very fortunate about that. And that is the thing. If you feel something, don't ignore it. One way or the other, take action on what you're feeling, because, that's, for me, what really counts the most.
Couldn't agree more. Wow, everyone's just not jumping here tonight. I'm going, hey!
Wow. Did I just shut everyone up? I've only been on a few minutes. Wow, that's an achievement. Look, I'm going to go off actually and continue listening for a little bit and then get off to bed. But I just wanted to say hi to everyone, and seeing as things are running smooth here, I managed to do it. Okay, so love to everyone, and I'll see you all around.
Hang on, before you go.
Hey.
Why don't you?
Yeah.
Why do you do? I love when you do it. Why don't you do the Critical Mass Radio shout-outs? That way I don't forget about it.
All right. Yeah, no problem.
We're at the top of the hour.
So top of the hour shout-out, the Critical Mass Radio. Okay, look, we're here because of Paul Giovanni and having a wonderful, wonderful feeling to do something and start a radio station. And here we are with our voices. So all of those of you who call in, all of those of you who listen, please do support your station with either a donation or even better, a monthly subscription, and go to criticalmassradio.co.uk and click a button somewhere that says donate or subscribe, and share the links and share everything, post it around, share the information. Go to kateofgaia.wordpress.com, share the information there as well, and just put it with your heart in the right place. People will understand. Now's our time.
Perfect.
Time I
go ahead.
Every time I go on the computer to get Blog Talk Radio and try to get on, I can never get on. It's so convoluted. I have to just dial it on my telephone, which I'm on right now. I'm not, it could be possibly that I'm a little computer illiterate, but I don't think I'm that bad.
Nah, it's all good. We have a bit of fun with both Skype and the call-in, so no, that's par for course. So welcome back again.
Okay, Kate. So the light is starting to go off. I mean, the witness seems so powerful. When we say we're the witness, that's it. That kills all law.
Legal.
I mean, you gotta. Go ahead.
It kills all legal, not law. It invokes law. Yeah.
Invokes law, but it kills all legal. And the other thing that was interesting in black, we're not competent in the law, so we don't have to know it. All we have to do is just state who we are, in a sense.
Well, yeah, if you're the witness. The witness is simply this, or whiteness, as I'm phonics, right? It's Phoenician law we're dealing with here, guys. And this is, I really want to get rid of all this admiralty, mercantile, lex mercentorium, commerce, and law of the high seas. It's actually, it's simply Roman civil law. All of it. It's all Phoenician law. It's all based in sound. Okay.
Okay. So that's the trick. They trick you phonetically.
Yeah, matrix, mother tricks, patricks, father tricks. It's all about tricks. We're in a cosmic joke. This is what I've been trying to get to people so they lighten up a little. There's no sense in picking fights in a cosmic joke. You're just going to have to laugh harder at yourself on the other side. That's all.
So the witness, I am the witness to the fraud when I have my birth certificate on me, and it's all in capital letters, and that squashes everything. That takes me out of the jurisdiction.
Well, again, you're not the witness to the court. You're just the witness. You are the one in knowing. And witness means wit, to know, ness, in the state of being. So what you're saying is, I am. That's what Jesus said. I am the way, the truth, the light. He's the I am. Okay, the Aries. Okay, and the is theos, which is God. So you're saying it a couple of times here. Wit means to know, and ness is in the state of being. It's also phonetically whiteness.
Yeah. So that dispels the spell.
Yeah, we just had to figure out the Phoenician side of it. That was the big trigger for me, and that's what's opened up the whole, the whole reality here, as far as I'm concerned. As soon as that concept of Roman law being based in Phoenician law, and I thought phonics, and we touched on this stuff, glazed over it a few times, but it wasn't that long ago, a few months. I mean, I've always played with words, but this whole correlation of sound, phonics, Phoenician, Venetian, all of these pieces all came together all at the same time, and it's like, holy shit, there it is. And it's all in sound, because I can assume and presume anything I want based on a sound if you're not spelling it out for me, such as the word right. I use that one all the time. Right, or right. Or better yet, right again. Because you got a family name and a millwright there too, you see. And you have a ritual, and you have something you do on paper, and you have a right arm. Right? So this is why you walk into court and you use that one word. They can be assumed and presumed one of 4 or 5 ways. And remember, in the courtroom, it's all about interpretation. Assumption, presumption. The court will interpret the law. No, and they're not lying to you. They're going to interpret the Phoenician law. They just don't tell you which kind of law it is. They're not telling lies. It's beautifully, it's a game, guys, that we're playing to try to figure ourselves out of this thing. And we're not going to figure it out. Go ahead.
Like silence is golden.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Don't say anything. I'm the witness. Let them take it from there.
Yeah, unless you know who you are, and someone like me, I can play all sorts of games. But I don't even want to do that, I let's just say I'm the last being on this planet that they're going to want to be talking to.
Hey, Kate, it's Tony.
Hey, Tony, how are you? About time you jumped in.
Sorry, I was eating. So you got, you're not going to say much. You got nothing to prove at this point. And the thing is, what we need to keep in mind, we got to be vigilant. You're always talking about this is not a competition. We're not winning. This is, the Grand Cross that occurred right now or yesterday is just a fractal of what's coming up in April. So can you imagine the culminations that we're going to see in April? I mean, this shit's just going to keep dominoing and faster. And I mean, as we get closer to the center of the spiral, it's just going to be complete. I mean, there's going to be nothing left. Like Santos said, it's gone. It's obsolete.
Totally. Hey, Santo, you have any input on the upcoming April?
Like the 4 blood moons, etc. It's a big year. You know, there's videos kicking around talking about it's going to be the Jews are aware of this big year of 4 blood moons. Of course, because the Jews are the Jews within, you and I.
Okay, one sec, Santo. Guys, I need you to mute out.
At first, I thought.
Okay, there. I think I got it. Yeah, be mindful, guys. We're on live radio here. Go ahead, Santo. Go back to the blood men, the blood moons.
Right. Well, there's going to be 4 blood moons in a year, this year, 2014. Now, you know, there's a lot of talk out there about the Jews being aware of this. It's going to be a big Jewish year of significance, great significance, you know, the like of which hasn't occurred for eons. Well, of course, because we're not talking about the Jews as a race, because no such thing exists. It's not those Jews who are aware of the big year, unless they've been brainwashed by the Zionists to think that, you know, Zionism is their new savior or some kind of crap like that. But the Jews are the Jews within. You and I, the listeners here on this table, we're Jews. A Jew is one inwardly, meaning one who is like a yew tree, who has stood up in righteousness and basically really emerged with his other twin flame. Really, that's your higher self. You know? And so the higher mind is absolutely crucial that we acquire the higher mind. It's absolutely crucial that we know who we are and accept this Savior. It's the Christ within, or the Jew within, the hero. You see, you can't get back to source without being a hero. Hero is Hi-Ro, Hi-Ram, Aries, Pharaoh, hero, Agnes. Agnes is the lamb, and that's Aries, and Agnes is ignite, fire. And it's the fire within, the little burning bush, you know, that spoke to Moses, Moses. That's what we have in our, in our temples. And the year, yes, we're going through a great grand cross right now, but the year is going to be very, very, very powerful for everyone. Jews of the flesh and Jews of the spirits, the so-called Jews and the ones who are Jews within, and it's all going to be about transformation. I mean, the conversations that we've had in these last few days during the Grand Cross have been very, very telling of the energy of the Grand Cross, because it's a cardinal Grand Cross, and we're talking about Aries squaring with Cancer, squaring with Libra, squaring with Capricorn. Now, this is the cardinal Grand Cross, which is our nature. Oh, ouch, that hurt. Someone's pretty loud in there.
Yeah, it's okay. Remember, guys, mute out on your end when you're not talking. That hurt too on this end. I got digital headphones.
Yeah, and I've got my volume right down too. Youch. I'll just adjust the volume before I go on, just in case it happens again. Hang on a minute.
No worries, playing it safe. I like my ears too. It's a musical thing. You know?
All right, I'm good now. So am I waffling on, or should I...
Hell no, Sandy. You never waffle, man. You always keep going. And just so you know, we got Chris back with Maggie on the line too. So no, carry on. Please.
No. In the sense that, I'm not sort of when I'm in the zone, I'm not aware of how long I've been talking. I'm probably boring some people because
No, Santo. This is
never.
You see, this is what I'm talking about, because we've had like the last few nights we've been averaging just over 60,000 tuned in. So we got some.
Holy shit!
Who's jerking off on the background there? Please stop pumping your meat. Thank you. Okay, that's what it sounded like.
You're never boring when you're channeling, Santos. Keep on.
Oh, never. And we got lots of new people. Like I said, we're hitting over 60,000 a night right now. So we got lots of new people, Santo, that need to hear all the waffling you can put in the toaster.
All right. Well, I don't need the encouragement, but thank you. Now, what's a cardinal cross? Cardinal cross is our nature. Aries is a fire sign. Agnes, ignite. It ignites us. It's the plasma that is our true self. The fire, the crystals, the atoms that we carry around with us. Carbon crystals, carbon-12 that would be. But in this sign we have the tetrahedron, fire. Fire is spiritual. That's the spiritual nature that we have. We have 4 natures here on this cross. Then you go to Cancer. Cancer is water. That's our psychic, emotional nature, our feminine nature. We all have this. And it's governed by the moon in Cancer. This has to do with water and the element of hydrogen. Fire was the element of nitrogen, because not only are these platonic elements in the macrocosm worthy of our consideration, but we need to consider in the macrocosm the biological elements of nitrogen, hydrogen, oxygen, and carbon. That's what we're made of. I believe probably up to 98% of us are made of those 4 vibrations. We're composed of those 4 vibrations, 4 rivers in the Garden of Eden. And so Aries is fire, nitrogen, and our spiritual nature. Nitrogen, by the way, if you put IG in front of it, you get ignite. And if you put after gen, all those elements that have gen are dealing with generate. So nitro-generator. But remember to put the ig in front of night, just so that you get the full meaning of the word. It is Agnes, it is Aries, it is nitrogenerator, ignitro-generator. Then you get to water, Cancer, and of course we've got water, hydrogen, that's water. And that's where the head of the Hydra is, in Cancer. Funny about that. Then you go to Libra and you've got air, oxygen. And this is the oxygen there, oxygenerator. Oxy is another name for David, or sake in Japanese. I'll get back to that. But David is Saturn. Saturn is the ruler of air. Saturn exalts in Libra. This is our intellectual nature. Opposite is our spiritual nature in Aries. So oxygen and nitrogen, they are the 2 boys. The 2 girls, they are hydrogen and carbon. Carbon, as I explained a couple of days ago on this show, is nothing but cabra, Capricorn, the goat. In Spanish, Capri, the goat, is cabra, C-A-B-R-A. That's an anagram for carbon, minus the N. Just delete the final N. It's basically an anagram for carbon. Carbon is carbon-12, the most common isotope in the universe. 99% of carbon is carbon-12. Very little of it is carbon-13 or carbon-14, which is very, very radioactive. So this is Abra. I speak. Carbon. It's carbon crystals. Abracadabra is the process of carbon manifesting the universe, the electric universe. And that is in Earth, Capricorn, Cabra, carbon. And so we've got ignitrogen, ignite, Agnes, Aries, and Cabra, carbon, the 2, the sheep and the goats, the 2 active, or should we say the two agents of nature, whereas air and air and water. Sorry, I've got that wrong. Let me backtrack. Excuse me. But nitrogen and carbon are motion and rest. That's what they represent. They both represent, according to Plutarch, the four Platonic elements. Fire represents motion. Of course it is. It's the generator. It generates all things. It is the ram. Brahma. As he breathes, he creates. So of course it's nitrogen. Nitrogen. Agnis, the firstborn of Brahma. And so that's dealing with nitrogen. The number of nitrogen is 7. The number of carbon is 6. There's always been a war between 7 and 6. 6 is a naughty number. Oh, it's naughty with its hex and all that stuff. But 7 is God's favorite number, because earth carbon has to do with rest. And God does not like to rest. God moves. Well, the electrical God does. El, the father of all the gods, electricity, yeah, he likes to move, but magnetism God, prime creator, no, he likes to rest. And so this cardinal cross that we're going through, with Uranus in Aries, squaring with Jupiter in Cancer, squaring with Mars in Libra, squaring with 5 planets, including the new moon on the 1st of January, or now rather it's 3 planets, Pluto, Sun, Venus and Mercury, all in Capricorn. And those planets, those signs each represent. Aries represents ecclesiastical things, spiritual things. So the churches in the mesocosm. Cancer represents the moon, Monet, the stuff made with silver in your pockets you call money, the moon stuff, the silver. And so the economy, financial, the stock market, all of that. Because, how do I know? Well, because there are 2 bears in Cancer, Ursa Major and Ursa Minor. That's the bear market. Taurus is the bull market, you see, because when the sun gets to Cancer, it's got nothing but to go down. And that's the bear with the toothache. You know, going down the ecliptic to the Tropic of Cancer, to Capricorn. And so, and then Libra is all about justice, balance, the court system. Well, look what's happening in the court system. If Rory didn't give us a raw, thunderous, raw exaltation in the scales of Libra justice.
I was going to say, what's your sign again, Rory? We still got Rory, I hope. Let me just double check.
I hope he was a Scorpio, because you don't want to deal with Scorpio.
Looks like we lost.
I think Rory got bumped off.
Okay. Yeah, I was curious as to what sign he is.
And Santos, I was referring, just for everybody, I was referring to April 24th. Supposedly there's another Grand Cross that's even more than one we're experiencing now.
Oh, really? Hang on, I'll just pull it up. I'll just pull it up now. What? April 24th, yeah, Taurus.
April 24th, yeah.
Okay, I'll have a look.
That's what I was meaning, like the fractal. We're just getting, the spiral's getting tighter and tighter. And
I'm heading there myself. Oh, and Christopher, I got your note. You've got Maggie in the call with you, yes?
Yes.
Okay. So let's have a look at this, and I know Maggie's got some neat stuff to share. 24th April?
Well, I had a question. Aries is fire, Cancer is water, Libra is air. What's Capricorn?
It's the
carbon.
Earth.
Yeah, it's carbon, but it is also earth. Earth resonates with carbon in the 4 rivers of the Garden of Eden system. You see, what we're just doing here is we're syncretizing astrology with alchemy, with chemistry, with with all sciences. This is how syncretism, works. And so, but it's also dealing with our physical nature, because Capricorn rules the knees and the skeletal system, and Saturn being the lead ruler of Capricorn, it deals with our sensual nature. So Aries is our spiritual, Cancer is our emotional, Libra is our intellectual, and Capricorn is our sensual, our physical nature. The five senses are there. These people are truly, a delight to watch when you watch Capricorn people with their senses. You can see that they're just hungering to use their senses, and they use them so well. They're great dancers. They look at Elvis Presley, with that earthy pelvis. Michael Jackson was a Virgo. All the great dancers, Fred Astaire, Tori, and all the earth, signs, they knew how to shake their earth, their carbon. They're the best dancers, the earth signs. And so Capricorn also deals with the political, the king. You see, so Libra, we did that. That's the justice system. Well, our conversations today prove that there is a transformation happening there. And by the way, I did look at the 24th of April square. Yes, it's also a powerful one, but it's exactly the same as the one we're going through now.
Hey,
a cardinal.
I was going to jump in there. Did you notice the ascendant and the midheaven?
On the April 20 through 24th, is that one?
Yeah, it's Leo. I put it 12 noon Greenwich Mean Time. That's 0 point, right? So and
Leo ascendant.
Leo ascendant, Aries midheaven. Do you know anybody with a Leo's ascendant, Aries midheaven? Santo?
Nope. Nope.
Your sarcasm is getting better.
Yeah, but this grand trine, that'll be us. That's for sure. And,
well, that's actually what it is for me. Leo ascendant, Aries midheaven. That's my chart.
Yeah, and
wow.
You'll notice that there's also a grand trine in the middle, a water trine.
Yep.
You see, this is why grand trines and grand squares, or grand crosses, when they happen together, as in the 24th of April, right in front of our noses here, you see Jupiter is trining. Jupiter in Cancer water, is trining with Venus in Pisces, where she exalts. Jupiter exalts in Cancer, Venus exalts in Pisces, and they're both trining with Saturn in Scorpio. Water. So this is the water trine, that it's a very emotional, fluid thing that's going to be happening with a cardinal grand cross. Now, the grand crosses, they happen in different elements. So a grand cross will always be in different elements, and it will always be either cardinal, fixed, or mutable. Whereas the grand trines, they can only be in one element. So they take the whole element with them. So this is the whole water element. Excuse me.
And just after that, go ahead.
Yeah. This is the whole water element being taken along with it. So it's added. There's going to be water added to this cardinal grand cross. So that makes this one powerful too. Okay.
And then following that, on April the 29th, there is a solar eclipse in Taurus.
Right.
So it's just an indicator of, the spiral getting tighter and tighter, as Terrence McKenna once before.
Oh, yeah.
That's interesting.
It's getting tighter and tighter into a noose. It's beautiful.
We're going to flip inside out.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So those four elements are stirring up in our bodies. You see, we have nitrogen, nitrogen, in our bodies. We have carbon. See, carbon is an anagram for, as I said, for Cabra. But it's also an anagram for, abracadabra, as I explained in a previous show, is I create through speech. Now, it's funny that the Hebrew word for speech is daber. Daber. I've also explained that comes from dabra, to speak, and the Japanese verb for to speak is daberu. So in Hebrew it's daber, and you just add a U onto it for Japanese, and you've got the same word, to speak. And it's in abracadabra. And in Spanish, the Hebrew Iberian people see, this is what's going on with words such as, daberu. Look at the word daberu in Japanese. Please look at it carefully. D-A-B-E-R-U. Now, just remove the D and the U at the end, and you've got aber. Basically, that's just the Eber, or the Hebrew people, because the Hebrew people are the people who speak the original light language. And all languages have it. And I've just proven that Japanese does, because it also uses the expression daberu, which is Hebrew for daber, which comes from dabra, abracadabra, I create through speech. And lo and behold, the first words of Genesis, Bareshit bara Elohim. Bare is the same as that Japanese word. Daber, bare. What part of I speak don't the theologians get? And so...
all of it?
Yeah. They miss everything. And so... our elements are really being stirred up. Whenever there's a cardinal grand cross, rest assured that your nitrogen in your body, and by the way, the air, which is made up of 78% nitrogen and 21% oxygen, if I'm not wrong, but it's a much higher proportion of nitrogen in the air than oxygen. So we've got oxygen playing a very funny role here. It's a masculine element, quote unquote. It's called masculine, together with fire, but air, when it's with...
Guys, someone's got their mic open, making shit piles of noise in the background. Please mute your mic. I can hear keyboards hammering, this high-pitched squeal. Please, thank you. I'll give you the courtesy of coming on. Do me the courtesy of muting when you're not talking. Thank you. I hate saying that, because I should only have to say it once. Thank you. Go ahead, Santo.
Yeah. Daber, to speak, is... No, that's not what I was saying, wasn't it? Can you remind me?
I'm trying to go back. This is why I want people to please be courteous. You're busting down, so stop. Fuck.
You were talking about the percentages of the element nitrogen in the body.
Yes. Good. Thank you. Okay. So nitrogen, oxygen is the tricky element here. In air, it's 21% of air, and its other half is nitrogen 21, together with other things like argon and carbon and whatever else, but those are insignificant. It's all nitrogen and oxygen. So that makes up air. But what makes up water? Oxygen turns up again, but this time with hydrogen. So oxygen, the boy, hooks up with hydrogen, the girl, to make girl stuff, water, and hooks up with nitrogen to make boy stuff, air. And this is why we have gender in the science, in the holy science. It's not to crystallize polarity. It's to explain polarity. It's not to crystallize duality, the concept of duality. It's to explain polarity, which is what's truly going on. Light is polarized when it's red and blue. But it's not. It's unified when it's white. And so, white is magnetic. That's magnetism. And its child, its only begotten, Agnes, nitrogen or fire, produces two colors. And those are red and blue. The waters above and the waters below.
And one other note, when you mix red and blue, you get purple. Phoenician. Purple people. That's what Phoenician is, creator.
And another thing to keep in mind, as Santos was talking about us being composed of elements, is we're all alchemists in this moment in time. As these energies are coming in, our elemental structure is changing, and so the more pure we can be, the more receptive we're going to be to these energies. So you better be taking care of yourself.
Yeah, and one thing I'd recommend, I'd like to, I don't mind provoking people if they're still in, yesterday's Roman world, which has made us brain dead and indoctrinated us to love the smell of blood and hence eat fish meat. I'd like to take this opportunity because I'm exposing some of these so-called teachers, like Jan Irvin, for instance, who claims to be a teacher, and of the trivium, of course, one of the holy sciences. How dare he? Pythagoras would be rolling around in his grave. So would Plato. So would Porphyry. So would Plutarch. I mentioned the 4 great vegetarians who ever lived, and probably the greatest of all, ascended masters. Iamblichus included. Every single other ascended rabbi or priest or astrologer, philosopher of the past who has ascended was vegetarian, period. And so Jan Irvin gets on an interview and delights in the fact that he loves a sizzling fried bacon. Now, I posted today on Facebook that bacon is the choice meat of the elites for thousands of years. Rome, delights in teaching the Goy to gorge their faces with pig meat, and they love to tell them to fry it with olive oil or fat or whatever else because they know that it's toxic. To be a teacher, this is why I'm telling people and exposing people, like Dolezal and these types. That would be Dolezal Senior, the criminal, of course, because exposure will eliminate the blind leading the blind, and we've had enough of that. So, knowledge comes to the rescue, of course, and knowledge instructs us, the higher mind instructs us that it is an aberration to shed blood or eat things that are dead. So I'm also doing this to encourage anyone who still thinks that they need meat to understand that those days are gone, really. They are so old paradigm.
The trivium type is still stuck in ego, clearly.
Yep. What they've done is they've fallen to their intellectual mind, which is represented by Libra, whereas they should have been saved by their higher mind, which is opposite that, the fire of Ignite, Agnes, Aries. And, it's not at all to spite any of our nature. Air is part of our beautiful nature, as is Capricorn, carbon, and Cancer, hydrogen. That is the beautiful dance that we've chosen to dance in. But the ones who are claiming that they are leading the way and talk a lot on the airwaves and say things like this need to be silenced. Will never condemn anyone who still, delights in sizzling, frying their meat. It's not about condemning. I would call it, awakening them, because there's no way possible that meat that was engineered by the elite, full of parasites to poison and toxify our blood and our minds, can be anything assimilating philosophy. Neither can anything fried, unless it's fried in coconut oil. Or there are some oils that don't change molecularly when they're fried. Olive oil is totally toxic when it's cooked. When it's heated up, it's beautiful and very good for you when it's extra virgin olive oil. But you should never heat this oil. Never heat it. It's so toxic to the human organism. And so, knowing will always be king. And all those pretenders out there who, promote things like fried pig's bum, I don't think so. Not on my watch. You're going to be denounced. You're going to be exposed. You're going to be made an example of, and so that we can get off planet sooner rather than later.
Well, like Bentley Palmer Hall says, there are no skipping any steps. Step one on Jacob's Ladder is purification. If they can't get that, then they're stuck. Wrong number one.
Yeah, fried pig's bum, I'm afraid you ain't going to do any kind of oil ascending, chrism oil ascending. So, wish you luck with your bacon and eggs.
And it only makes sense. I mean, if you think about we're all made of elements, how can one element transmute or restructure when it's toxic, when it's just, toxic as hell? It can't.
No, this is the thing. What's going on is that the food that we've been told are foods, even by nutritionists. These nutritionists say, oh, you need some protein and cheese, and you need some good fish meat, and this is the best fish you can eat, or that's the best fish you can eat, and salmon's good for you, and tuck that into you, and all of it's rubbish. What a crock of shit. Just ask. Yeah, well, just ask a horse whether they need any protein. I've galloped on horses for, up to 60 miles in a day. I've galloped bareback, and all they eat is sprouts. Sprouts would be the best food for humans. Period. Why? Because the seeds are just bursting forth with all power, elements and minerals, and they have the freshest fiber. Why would you eat a vegetable from a supermarket that is totally old and mature? I mean, that's old fiber. Apples have got old fiber, hybridized old fiber, which is just pure acid in your body, unless you're eating crab apples, that is, that are natural to this planet. So, and then you get these morons who have 7 years, like Jan Irvin. He did 7 years of vegetarian, and he said, I remember the last email he sent to me, he says, and it was the worst thing I ever did. How dare you send me that video? I sent him the video of Earthlings, Joachim Phoenix narrated that one, and I think it was one of Paul McCartney's. Paul McCartney's a vegetarian, apparently, but anyway, one of the two, and he said, how dare I use the fallacy of sympathy for animals? That's a fallacy, how dare you do such a thing? Well, I've got a voice. And animals, well, they do. They have also. They don't have speech. I have to articulate the pain that animals are going through, and to explain that it's useless to eat their flesh anyway because it only putrefies in your guts.
That's
and
it. And what
parasite.
What ignorant people that are asking, where do you get your protein from? What they really are asking is, where do you get your essential amino acids? And I tell them, from the same place you do, only recycled, because you get it through an animal. They get it from the plant, which I just skip the animal and go straight to the plant. And when you get it recycled, obviously it's just going to sit there and putrefy and just mucus and it's just terrible for your body. Why do you need? There's no essential amino acid in an animal that's not in a plant. So what's the point?
Hello. They're GMO.
Well, the isotope is the wrong isotope anyway. The isotope in any meat is, I think it's 47, whereas it should be 46. 47, now don't quote me on this, it could be vice versa, or somewhere around 46, 47 is the isotope of iron that supposedly you can get from red meat. Well, that's a crock of shit, because the iron that is in red meat is the same isotope that that you put in making buildings, not for human consumption. So you're going to stuff up your whole system eating red meat.
Okay, let's say we don't have to eat or drink anything. Aloha, everybody. And we're just
Hello, Mike. How are you?
Wonderful. And we're just being here, being all is itself. And look at what's in the air naturally. We're not consuming anything. Let's just say what's here we know of. That's we are already one with. Basic chemical blocks. We bring it to the table sometimes. DMT is everywhere. Let's just take it to that. What happens when the spirit molecule is connected to you? You raise your consciousness up and through the heart into the fifth. That is every moment. What? Just remember that. That's every moment. That is our opportunity.
Yeah, again, and for people, it's I'll tell you, meat is that's an aware choice that I made. That you are, as far as I'm concerned, you are what you eat. Whatever you put in your body is what you're building your body with, right? Thus the urine therapy, which will help cleanse and what have you. But one of the things that and listen, people will do whatever they want to do, and people will justify whatever they want to do in whatever way they want to justify it. I am not concerned with what anybody else does. The only thing I will do is what I do. And I will listen, observe, feel things out. If it makes sense and feels right, I go with it. And it just made sense and felt right. I've always known this, that, eating flesh of another living animal just, to me, isn't cool, because that animal had to suffer. I don't care how much you love meat. That animal had to suffer.
Well,
it had to suffer the pain of death, and you're eating that death. And just a quick note, and then jump in. Rory is Capricorn, coincidentally.
Imagine that.
Imagine that.
And that's the thing. It's argument. If our ancestors did eat meat, people, I hear that argument all the time. Yeah, but they also raised that animal, cared for that animal, loved that animal, and it didn't live in trauma its entire life, and it didn't die traumatically with a terrible vibration, and then you put that shit in your body. And that was maybe once a month, not 3 times a day.
Yeah, again, it's the hunter-gatherer, Again, whatever people choose to do is their choice, and I'm okay with that. Meat eating is just not something I'm going to agree with, and I'm certainly not going to. People can try to justify it any which way they want with me, but it's not going to fly with me. Here, one sec. Go ahead, guys. One sec.
You know why it doesn't justify? Because if we have to justify anything, it's false. It's
true.
Bullshit.
Yeah, I don't debate anything anymore. Sorry.
And like Savan says, it'll come to you.
Yeah. And it's not a make right or a make wrong here either. This is the whole thing, and the problem with the program called the ego. Ego must defend itself. It must justify its position. Truth never has to do that. It's like, as Mark Passio has said so eloquently, the truth is, it doesn't need anyone's belief or not. It simply is.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be validated.
Exactly. For me, once I find truth, I have a choice to defy it or deny it or stand in it. And I made the deal to stand in it, regardless of consequence. And that's where I stand, and I will not yield this position. And I am not going to get into any debates regarding anyone's position or anyone's stance in this game, because I'm the only one I'm here to save. And in the process, given that I am all, what am I doing? Well, that's saving all then too, isn't it? So you got to get selfless and selfish at the same time here. So whatever feels right, go with it.
Yeah, and I really didn't mean to get too far off topic. I was just making the point that, we need to be aware of, we are made of elements, and we're going through a great transition right now, and the more pure, the more receptive we're going to be to these energies.
Okay, and I'm going to back that one up a little bit more. We are not the elements that are here. This is our creation. This is our effect. We simply are. And whatever we get into spiritual contract with, it's like when someone says, "Oh, here, I've got this new health page to improve your health." What you've done is you've all contracted then. If you must have health, then you must also have illness. And this is the both sides of the coin that people keep missing. It's like a great idea, but it's very polarized. That's from that perspective. If you need to go looking for something healthy, then obviously we're agreeing that there's something that creates illness, and that's all 3D physical paradigm. Infinite.
Hey, Kate, can I jump in?
Yeah, I was going to say. Just infinite gods don't need that. Go ahead, Trace.
Well, I just want to say on the issue of being a meat eater or not, let's look at it then from a neutral perspective and not a judgment about whether there's feelings involved, because spiritually it's everybody's movie. And let's just look at quantum speak. It's a matter of density. And so, the actual physical meat is denser, it's heavier, it's closer to the 3D aspect of where we've been instead of where we want to go. So it's a denser idea, it's a denser thought, it's a denser reality in all levels. It's just denser. So that's the choice. Do we want to be more grounded by being meat eaters? It served us, but I just think it's cool if we lose the judgment. Well, because some people it's incremental, like this path is incremental,
Again,
and everybody has to be ready for everything, including whether they stand.
Wow, Grace, hang on, hon. You don't have to get louder when someone wants to agree with you, and it's not about dealing.
I didn't get louder.
Yeah, you did. Anyway, it's all good. I'm still observing here. That's okay. Whatever.
What is observing too, sister?
Anyway.
But I just met a Capricorn. He's eating meat. He's from Alberta. Help me.
Glad to hear it.
He's eating meat in a big way.
That's entirely.
So, yeah, it's incremental. But
so much for what I was going to say.
I'm right, though, about let's not judge. Let's not judge. That's what we want to do, is not separate.
Trace, that's what I was going to say. There is no judgment here. If the only sense of judgment that can be sensed is someone feeling judged, then that's an ego response.
And Kate, don't
and Trace, by the way,
I was taking a
never mind. This is
I'm speaking from my heart.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Speak from my heart. Yeah.
And I just want to say too, Tracy, that if the only one person that I was directing any judgment to was directly, of course, the person that I mentioned, right? I wasn't directing it to any listeners, because this particular person goes around, promoting himself as, hey, my trivia is going to save the world. If you're going to do that, then that's judgment, right? So, absolutely want to make it clear that there's no judgment in my part toward any of the listeners. None of that was directed from my part. But I still wish, though, to, use my enthusiasm towards vegetarianism and the life of other beings to encourage you to move on from that very old way of doing things. I know we've all got very deep ingrained things that we have to move away from, including, yes, yours truly, but lots of things, in fact. We can make a big deal of changing the way they do things out there in the world when we truly use our energy to be really good, leaders and showers of the way.
Precisely. And my point for bringing the whole topic up of purification is that's what all the great philosophers say. Step one is purification. And for me personally, I know the alternative. I mean, should I eat raw living food or should I eat cooked dead blood? I mean, it's clear to me. It's no judgment. It's we're here in the physical. We're here in the matrix. We may as well take care of the vessel that we occupy.
Can you hear me?
You're breaking up. Whoever that is, you're breaking up very badly.
Hey, I just got back on, you guys. Sorry, I missed all of that.
No problem. Well, we get about 12 minutes to roll over anyway, so let me just get the numbers out, and people can call in if you want to hear the crossover, the grand cross into the recording. As soon as I finish with the phone number, sure you can. Area code 661-467-2401 is the call number, and you can Skype in from the Blog Talk page. Just refresh the page. If the button's not there, press that, and that'll bring you to the board. When you want to talk, all you have to do is hit 1. And thanks again to Paul Giovanni and the crew at criticalmassradio.co.uk. Anything you guys can do to help, please feel free. Much obliged. So there you go. Carry on, Trace.
No, sorry. I just, I've been off for the last 5 minutes.
That's fine.
So Santo was replying and kind of telling me where he was coming from. But, sister, brother, I was not reacting to either one of you talking about an I or a we. I'm empath, and I'm talking about all of us. And I know that there's a lot of brothers and sisters just at different places on the path of awareness and awakeness. So it wasn't a personal... And sister, you and I, we tend to do that a lot.
No, Trace, I'm good. And quite honestly, I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks. Personally, I don't give a fucking goddamn about what other people think.
But my point was lost. My point was lost. I'm talking about the judgment, and my point was it's an energy thing. Like, I just wanted to share that it's just a matter of density. Like, so people can choose instead of whether or not they're, taking a life, that they can just choose. That it's just, it's a matter of ascension in that way of, energy.
It's easy. It's a personal choice. I don't need to go any further than that. You want to eat meat? That's fine. And that's okay. It's for me. It's all three realm. Yeah, there's no emotion here. I haven't got time for that. I really don't. So it's like,
except if the animal had a face.
Well, again, it's a consciousness thing, right? I'm not dealing with a physical meat stick here. I'm dealing with a consciousness that is going to experience something that is part of me, and I don't want me to experience that. That's okay. People want to continue doing that. It's the same thing. I'll put the same thing in line with those who still pay taxes into a system, that the next child that dies because of some war or some starvation from banks and all the rest of it, that's their fucking fault. I want no part of it.
But ultimately, there's no judgment but our own.
No, that's not judgment. That is a factual observation. I'm not saying... Okay,
judgment.
I'll tell you what judgment is. I hate those motherfuckers for... No, that's judgment. What I'm saying... Trace, fuck, can I finish my thought? Please.
Tracy, hold on.
Jesus fucking Christ, chill. Let me finish a fucking thought here. Oh, man. You know what, guys? Carry on. I'm done. You carry on. Chris, take the board. Seriously. I can't... Trace, I can't take the energy.
Hey, hold on a second. What I think is when we've been attached to something that's been dead for so long, it seems like it would be only natural that we would want to stop and not eat dead things.
Are we arguing? Let's argue the point. Like, we know what the choices are. We know where we want to, focus, don't we, on what we want to create or where we've been, like, reporting. I just wanted to throw in an aspect of who we all are, and it became, all about my reaction. Well, no, I'm just one of all of us. I'm just, it did feel like a judgment. I was just talking about a zoomed out aspect of looking at judgment.
Yeah, I didn't pick up anything from you negatively from that at all, Tracy. That was just a pure comment. That's what I felt anyway. I didn't think you directed that against neither me nor. No, that was good. No, all you did was you reminded me that I probably should, remind the listener that if I had any judgment, that was toward only one person, and that was the person that I mentioned. That is going around making himself a teacher and a savior, come to the trivium and it'll save you, and who's recommending to eat fried pig's bum on his radios. I said then when I heard this, I said, I don't mind if, there's no judgment about if you're doing that, but you're a teacher and you're saying, hey, everybody, we're here to raise our consciousness and ascend the oils and clean up and, get the body in sync with the whole universe that is being upgraded. Everything's moving to higher energy sources of, energy.
Well, that's why I wanted to share it, because the incremental aspect is something that keeps coming up for me when I hear the show. Like, not everybody is at this table, and people are being addressed in that way. So for me, I have this new experience. I've been, free floating for a long time, choosing to eat and to purify and to drink my urine. And all of a sudden my twin flame shows up, and he's a meat eater, and he's still at that, he's awakening, but he's not at that realization. And so I'm looking at, a balance here of, do I hit him hard and show him meet your meat sit him down in YouTube, or do I let him, do I just open my heart space to, his incremental path of when he chooses to wake up to that reality and then say, wow, she hasn't eaten, meat, and, I don't think I want to eat it anymore, and just sort of, it's just an experience that's going on for me right now, and I can see that, that not everybody's at the same place.
That is very true. Not everyone is at the same place. So we can't judge them on their path. We have to lead by our example. And I am, 1 second, please, one second, okay?
Yeah.
We have to lead by our example. And I got to come clean, because I've been a hypocrite lately to myself, because I haven't been doing the things I know are best for me. And I have not been leading by my example, and I apologize. I just want to tell the universe that. And I am better than this, and I will be better. Thank you all. I love you.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Me too. I just quit smoking. I got 2 days in.
And I'm on the way to be Sproutarian.
Wow.
You go, boy.
I'm digging it, and I've never had so much energy in my life. I've never been so vitalized. I just can't speak highly enough of it. I've got myself a proper cold juicing machine to squeeze the herbs that I find in my backyard, i.e. plant argo, dandelion, and all sorts of sprouts, which I put through I guess you'd call it a meat. Those. The Italians use them for squeezing the tomatoes for sauce every year. It's got one of those. It's
grinder.
It's got the handle. So I put the herbs in there, and I get all my minerals from that, and I stuff my face with sprouts, and you get so full that there's no more room for cooked food. The other night I had cooked food, and I just felt sick. It made me sick. And yet my wife used coconut oil and did all the, organic. It's all organic, of course. There ain't nothing that's not organic or pure in the sense that it hasn't got any touch of bad vibration connected with it will enter my body. But nonetheless, sprouts have got all of the fresh and
vital.
Juicy,
vitality,
tender fiber. Yeah. Yep. Chlorophyll. If you're eating a lot of green sprouts, you will get chlorophyll, which is basically just photosynthesis for the body, isn't it? Really, because the body's looking for that. It gets oxygen and air from chlorophyll, and that's what sprouts are all about.
Yeah, I'm setting up to do the same. In the Comox Valley, we can grow greens, 3 seasons. It's great. I'm very excited about the new regime I'm on as far as eating. Just got to get the twin flame on board totally.
Well, I would say to anyone who's that you have as friends that eat meat, I would just say, look, start eating sprouts. Add at least a snack of sprouts to your diet every day and see what changes happen, because it will immediately go to work to alkalizing all that poison that's already in the body. It's pure alkalinity.
Hey, Santo, what about the cell salts that you used to talk about? Do we need to purchase those at is there a source, or is that from our food? Yeah?
Oh, yeah. Well, I supplement with the Schussler tissue salts. Now, I've got liquid, so I spray it into my mouth, and it's the 12. It's the combination. It's called Bio... I forgot the name now.
Can you post a link?
Well, yeah, I can, but I think it's an Australian brand, and it's the only brand that doesn't have sorbitol or lactose in it. It's pure 12 cell salts.
Hey, well, why don't you take it on board? I'll buy it off you directly.
No. Well, I'll give you the link.
Okay.
And I suppose you can get it from here. I'll find out how you can get it anyway.
Yeah, I'm sure I can get it online if it's available. But I just thought you might have it posted somewhere. Okay, thank you.
Yep, it'll be on Facebook within 24 hours.
I'm going to open up some more lines
here. So
here.
We take that.
I've just opened up 4 lines, 905, 847, 617, and 757 area codes.
Hello, 617 here.
Hi there.
Hi there. Hi, everybody.
Hi. Hey, Chris.
Hey, guys, excuse me.
Pretty good of the... Go ahead.
Can I just quickly add, I've got the website. I'll mention it on air since in 60 seconds we go to recording. It's the website where I get my salts from is martinandpleasance.com. So Martin and Pleasance, 3 words in one, .com. Now I'll spell it out. MARTIN. Right, so that's Martin, and A-N-D, Pleasance, PLEASANCE.com. Okay, over to you guys.
Right on, Santo. Thanks. So I just wanted to add something to the whole nutrition, diet sort of thing, because it seems to be brought up a lot, and I've been through this whole thing myself. Went through a whole journey with that and decided to go and get some formal training at whatever, school was even available in this world at this time that wasn't some kind of indoctrination center. And there's actually this one really cool school, and although they don't teach you every highest bit of enlightenment and how to, balance every cell salt and all of that, they do go from a ton of research experience, all kinds of stuff like that, and that's this place in New York, the Integrative Institute. And it really is just so you can kind of see what other people are researching and studying. It's not really a formal course, so it's really, I don't know how to explain it, but it's really good for just seeing all this other research that's been done for years. And everybody kind of is coming from the same perspective as people here who want to raise their vibration and really connect with their higher self and all of that. And there are some diet things you can do to connect in that way, like the sprouts, the vegan, vegetarian, and all of that. As long as a human doesn't become deficient in one area or another, then it's helpful until a deficiency happens. So for anybody out there, as long as you are fortifying things in your body so you're not deficient in any area, then you can be vegan, you can be whatever you want, even breath area. If you can get away with breathing air and sunlight through your eyes and not eat ever again, do it, but don't force yourself to do it. Go only if your body's asking for it, and then it'll be a natural balance of things. You don't have to guess at anything. So I just hope that helps some people who are trying to do the high vibration thing, but also live in the physical realm. The balance in between, you want to really clean it up and then only do as much dense physical matter as possible. And yeah, meat is like the heaviest earthy element food, and you can do the elements and find out your whole composition, do the elemental one and all of that. So it's really it's good. It's alchemy. I hope that helps some people.
Beautiful. I mean, the choice is pretty simple if you're looking for minerals. Sprouts are full of them, and meat has none. Absolutely Zero. But you get added benefits from eating the meat, which has nothing of value for you anyway, which is the swallowing and gulping up of the death, the feeling of that, and the purification in your stomach.
Very dense, yeah.
For 7 days, because that's how long it takes to go from your mouth out your backside. 7 days, whereas sprouts, 24 hours.
Oh yeah, the food you eat definitely alters your organism into a different being. It's like changing your antenna into whatever you want to tune into. So it's like you eat that meat, you're going to tune into the meat-eating heavy people, and you're going to end up encountering all those police officers and all the negative crap. And then if you eat like really high vibrating things, it's amazing. It really does tune you into the dimension you want to be in if you can hold it there. So yeah, definitely, it's beautiful.
That's awesome.
Use it as a tool. Use food as a tool. Don't let it be a hindrance. If it becomes a problem, then you know that it's an imbalance of some type. It's a tool to help us. And if it becomes something that hurts us, then it's it's a control mechanism. No good. And then got to shift it up, something else. But I don't know, I've been through it all. So I've had I was born in like the 80s, so I missed most of the GMOs, but it was like my body knew good food, and then the GMOs happened, and when that hit the market, all these tasty treats are out there, and the parents buy the kids the cereals and all that stuff. My mom was doing the best she could, but they didn't know what was in there, and as soon as I started having weird little health things, I went from like a super athlete to having some weird health things, and I'm like, this is not my genetics. This is definitely some weird crap. And I literally flipped 180, cut out everything, and went into trying to explain to my other, I have buddies that are trying to figure out this whole thing just like us. And there is an aspect of it in food. You can't just not eat, but it's weird. There's an aspect of it on every level in your chakras that you have to balance. And it's definitely a trick for every person. It's like an individual journey. So definitely link up with people that are like-minded, because you can't get advice from someone who's bodybuilding for the journey that we have, where we really want to activate our pineal gland. So it's going to be different eating for different goals, and that's really I don't know. I guess that's something that can help a lot of people. Don't listen to the wrong people with different goals.
Yeah, this is why I've really gone out after one or two of these, so-called leaders and teachers that put themselves out there a lot, and really are giving people just really, really bad advice, which will really hurt them in the long run, and simply because they've got all their equipment in the left hemisphere all sorted out and trivium-like and marching, like a good little soldier, and they get all this information in there, and they've got no access to the the balance of the quadrivium on the right side, the music, the rhythm. Hey man, get some groove happening. They don't have any groove. They're rigid, and so hence their information is dangerous. It's the blind leading the blind. This is the types that Jesus condemned, not by condemning them verbally, by exposing them. That's all you can do. You can only expose it. You've got to hurt the personality ego so that the individual ego can be saved. These left-brainers, that's probably the thing that will cause them to snap out of it. I don't know, but certainly every time I was corrected in my path, I humbly accepted. When
some issue happens, you accept that you caused it to happen. Like, let's get to the bottom of it rather than cry about it or blame it on somebody else or something like that. Just figure it out. It's an imbalance of some type. Get to it. We're smart. Right on.
Yeah.
I'm agreeing with you. Yeah.
Yeah. So we've got to lose the opinions to save the knowing, because we do know. We've got to lose the thinking to save the being, or lose the doing to save the being. I am. We've got to go back to that. It's in
to the heart
Aries.
think, Santo. To the heart think rather than the mind think. Think with your heart. It makes it so simple.
Yeah, well, because the right hemisphere is directly connected to the heart, but you've got to get up to Aries, reactivate the dormant brain cells first, and then make that connection with the heart. The heart is the emotional feminine side, you could call it, the right side, the intuitive, nature of thinking. You see, so we should intuit things, and this is why a lot of astrologers and philosophers get derided because they use their intuition. And so they should be brave enough to use I was brave enough to use my intuition.
So imagine the chakras. Imagine the chakras as lights, okay? Look at the chakras lined up. So where we've come from, now we've got the survival, the lower three chakras. Those of us that have conquered that, okay, 3D if you want, the lower, denser existence, and we've expanded the heart. So think of it as light, right? Now it's lighting up the intuition, the throat, the blue light of the throat chakra. And now we're using our voice and so on. So it's energy again. As we grow love and amp up love, and it changes the field. So do we have to, ascend and then descend, and or is it just happening as we expand love?
I can add to that. Can I add to that from experience? I'd love to say something. From what I found is you want to cycle your energy. You want to go up and then back down, and it's like going up to the heavens and bringing it back down to earth, so you can apply it into the.
Excellent. Well done.
It was yeah. Thank you very much, Kate. I love you very much.
Love you too.
Wow.
I'm just going to run past everybody again. If you must go into court and you got something, it applies to anything. I don't care what it is. If you walk in and have a copy of your birth certificate with you, or some government document, whatever the case, it doesn't really. Birth certificate's the best because that's the prima facie original sin proof. It says, I'm the witness to this name fraud being perpetrated against me, and I'm holding the prima facie evidence of that fraud in my hand. Bye. Have a nice day. That's it. How much paperwork did you throw at them? Anything? No?
I didn't throw any.
You didn't need to. You just proved. That's why I want to call tonight's show. Look, Mom, no paper. Anyway, so there you go. Let's get Santo's thoughts on this, seeing as it is his show that I've corralled for the first 15 minutes. So 20 minutes. Sorry, Santo.
No, well done, Kate. This is it. Yeah, bring out these examples of victory and success, and let's burn Rome down to the ground. Rome has to be just burned to the ground. Every little last vestige of her blood-shedding, murderous, filthy schemes. And I love that. Why should we do business with these pricks? They are a coven of witches, a den of thieves. They are animalistic, vicious entities, stupid, morons, obsolete, arse-wipes, criminals, pedophiles, people traffickers. Why the hell even bother going to a church, to their churches, their courts? But well done. Yeah, go in there and say, listen, you bunch of fuckwits, we're not doing business today because we are. Bye-bye.
Yeah, and I'd love to have seen that guy, or it was a girl? Female judge?
It was a guy. It was a guy judge. His name was Fred Hartley.
Yeah, indeed. I love the 7th floor B, which B is 13th warrior. So of course God, as the 13th warrior, had to be that. It's perfect. Perfect. I mean, it's a big rollover on the system, and all it's doing is showing the power of knowing who you are. You see, here's the joy of it too, because people say, "Well, what happens if they come after you with a bench warrant?" All the. What do you mean? If you've already shown that you know who you are, let me guess. If I knew that you knew who you were, I'm not going to go anywhere near you because I know I can't get jurisdiction, and if I try, I'm guilty of premeditated murder. If a human being can be a person, so then can a person be a human being. So if you kill the legal person, you by definition and interpretation of the mirror of their laws, you have killed a human being. So that's premeditated murder with intent to kill if anyone comes up and asks you for ID. And if you give ID, well then they've actually murdered you legally. So every cop that's ever asked for any single piece of identification, any judge, any lawyer, are all guilty of premeditated murder. That's maybe a little worse than high treason, maybe.
What a filthy, dirty, corrupt system. I mean, okay, fair enough that it happened. Okay, we were ignorant. We all bought into it. We all were greedy. We wanted to do the commerce with the whore of Babylon. But now that honourable people awoken, as the scriptures have declared that they would awake, the dead shall rise, present themselves in courts, just as well, I mean, today's positive outcome was lovely. But, let's think of people like Dean Cliff.
And we waited in the courtroom. There was a few other cases that were being called up, and then it almost seemed like after we sat down that the judge got up and took a break, which was fine, because I had filed, I know paperwork, the intent was on my paperwork, the paperwork was there, it was never brought up, I just went in there as the witness. When the name was called, I went up and said, I am the witness to the fraud regarding the name that you are seeking, and seeking to aid and abet me, incriminating myself via fraud by claiming to be said thing. And he interrupted me, and I read it again, because he was asking me if I was the name, and then I repeated what I said, and then I had the birth certificate in my hand holding it up to him so he could see the proof of the fraud, that it's owned and registered, the name. And then he says, well, we can't do business today. And it was just a very, 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 now that I look at it now, it looks like a very nervous, evil, kind of a laugh, I guess. And that's kind of what I wanted people to laugh. I wanted to see something, and I saw that after he said we couldn't do business. And then here comes the deputy escorting me out of the courtroom, off, allegorically, like you say, off the boat, and the boat of the dead. And then we went down to the first floor and then out the doors until they didn't want me on their ship. I was too much light. That's how it's working.
And just so people know, that deputy or deputy sheriff or sheriff, whatever the case may be, was not there for any other reason than to protect you on your way out. They were making sure that you got out, not to get you out, but that you got out safely.
Exactly, because the whole place is full of murderers. And me and Carl were talking about that. I said, my God, Carl, the whole fucking place. I mean, when you say presiding judge, and they're presiding, they're going to kill you. And when you look at it, how we had the protection going out of the court all the way down to the doors, out to the outside, we were in absolute death. That's the only way I could, now that I see it now. Yeah, I see it very clear.
Let's talk about how you felt last night, and how do you feel now?
I feel fine. I think I was feeling some primordial freaking nervousness or something. It was just a little, it was definitely an old feeling. It felt old. I can't explain it.
Yeah, that's why I said to you, and I said to everyone last night, listen, you're going to experience these emotions. Just get ready for it. Look at them for what they are. Feel through it. If you want to write scripts, then write them and get through them. All manner of stuff, and then just nullify them.
That's what I was worried. That's what I was worried about, Kate. I didn't mean to interrupt you, honey.
No, that's fine.
The reason I didn't know if I should script. I wanted to script in mind when I would stop. I'm like, I keep saying, people I hear don't script, and I wanted to script the right thing. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to have the right outcome, and I wanted to, of course, make my presence known that I am a living.
Well, I'll tell you right now, Roy, your presence of mind and what you just said me tells me all I need to know about. You're not a script writer. You're actually looking at it from a neutral position, because you don't want a script means that you're not going to. You see?
Right.
So
I was very calm
yeah.
when I got up there. I was very calm.
Pay your bills. And you don't know who you are. Well, then you got some homework to do. You know, I stopped paying a lot of things because it was all fraud to me. But then I knew that, and I didn't just read it on somebody else's piece of paper and said, "Oh, well, look, I've got my," or somebody gave me my toilet paper to wipe my bum with. Maybe they'll wipe my bum for me too and go into court for me and all that. No, sorry, fuck you. Grow up. Grow a pair. Okay, so I'll get back to my Facebook page here. And there is a point to all of this, guys, because what Rory's going to share is exactly what I'm talking about. There is not one single piece of paper on this planet that is going to save you. The only thing that is going to save you is when you get the concept, when you empower yourself with the intent. If you want your mote ions back, if you want your ability to cast spells, then you better get out of the contract that owns all of your power. And that's the Whore of Babylon. If you are in agreement with the whore in any way, shape, or form, then you are under contract and you have no power because you've given it all away. Me, I've claimed it all back. Yeah, sure, I use a little thing here and there inside commerce, but it's a different intent that I have. Well, gosh darn, got to eat, and gosh darn, I got to stay on the air. So these are, it's the intention. It's not about going out and profiting. Right now, it's just about sheer and utter survival. Just at that 0 point of perfect balance of I am not going. Listen, guys, I could go out tomorrow and get all the idea I needed and get back into. I know how to create a business. Okay, I know how to create money. I used to do that very well, not to the degree that others do. But it was 4 years ago that I threw away a very successful business because I could not do it anymore. All right? That was my choice, though. So, no, I won't tell you to cut up your idea. I'll suggest it's probably a good idea if you start waking up and knowing who you are. And the instant you go get the idea that you're going to cut up, and I've said it often that if you can't handle the big thing, grab an old library card, something that's expired, and get your intent into it. It's the intent I'm after, not your fucking ID. Jesus Christ. Seriously, guys, okay? And this is for anyone new at the table. Welcome to this table. You're going to get some hardcore stuff, and it won't be Alex Jones style, okay? He's a pussy as far as I'm concerned. But they're all pussies. But anyway, well, I can't handle the truth, so I'm going to keep the fear porn going because I really like the meat stick game and getting my face filled with gluttony. But anyway, bottom line is this. You don't need a piece of paper. All you need is to know who you are. And here's the magic, and Rory's going to share the magic with us right now. The magic is simply this, knowing who you are, and it shows. You don't need a piece of paper. So my guess is, Rory, when you went in today, you didn't file a whole lot of paperwork. You didn't do anything at all. You just, when they called out the name, I don't know this, so I'm just going to tell you what I see. You walk in, they call the name. You go, I'm the witness, and I'm a witness to the fraud perpetuated through the legal name, and I'm holding the prima facie evidence in my hand. To which they would say, "Get the fuck out of here." And so, why don't you tell everybody what actually happened? That's what I think happened, but what happened?
It actually happened just like that. We had to find out where where this court case was actually going to be held at here in Grand Rapids. And so when we got there, we went to the information desk, and they told us to go to the 8th floor. I didn't ask. I had Carl ask for me. And then we went up to the 8th floor, and then there was nothing. So we went back down, and then Carl went up to the clerk, and then we found out where it was going to be at. And so we were on the 7th floor, courtroom B.
I'm a truth whore. Get over it. And I like to deal up hardcore truth porn, dancing pole and everything if you want. But the point I'm trying to make here is very simply this. If you don't know who you are inside, how the hell are you going to show that outside? And I do want to share a question that I got. I did try to answer it, but it didn't. I'm gonna show you a prime example. I'm not going to worry about the names or anything. It's not important, but this is a perfect example of everything And I answer it, but of course, for some reason, apparently, I'm blocked for messaging people that aren't my friends. So, but anyway, gosh darn, fascist book indeed. I sent them a little note today too because I was in the mood for it. But here's a question, and I really get where it's coming from, and this is a contrast. I'm not picking on anybody here, and like I did last night, I wanted people to pick out where these individuals were. Carry out the dead, fist fight, or hold the light. And as we found out, there was only one fist fight, and the rest were all hold the light, which is perfect on my page. That's what I want. I don't need the emotional diatribes. I don't need the emotional drabbles. I don't get into dramas. I don't give a fuck about what anybody else says, thinks, or does. I don't care what they say about me. It's only me that I'm concerned with here. I can only be offended if I agree to be offended. And fuck you. You don't have that amount of power over me. I'm God. Really, I am. So are you. So start adopting that. But here's the question or comment that came in. Hi, Kate. I'd like to know if you tell people to cut up their IDs so they are untouchable by the government. Do you also tell them to not pay their bills so they can be alive? I am a concerned family member and need answers. Well, okay. One, I do not tell anybody to cut up their IDs. I tell people that's what I did. And then I've explained all of the things around that. I won't tell anybody what to do because the instant I tell you, go and do this, I say go plant seeds. No harm, no foul in planting seeds, right? But when people, come looking for a savior, and you give them an answer, because it's right according to you, but if the person receiving the answer isn't in the right headspace, something fucks up, and I guarantee it will. Who are they going to blame? Well, they come. See, that's the program. It's circular. It's a serpent eating its own tail, right? Well, Kate's full of shit because I did what she said, and I got put in jail. Yeah, no, you interpreted what you thought I said, and you interpreted what you thought my experience was. That's why I've said, people that I used so-and-so's process and it didn't work. He says, no, you didn't. You used your interpretation of so-and-so's process based on your experience, which is obviously not as perfect as the one that used it, you see? So how can you claim to use anyone or anything's process? If you get the ideas, because it's the only thing I'm interested in sharing at these tables is concept. I need people to see the concept, and then they work it into their own reality. I'm not going to say 1 + 1 = 2 boys and girls. You fucking did that in school. Okay? You want to play the nanny wipe your bum game? Well, fuck off. Don't come near this table. You're not ready for it. Okay? And I'm being very blunt for a reason, because I want people to go, oh, wait a minute. Start crying if you have to. I got some Kleenex here. Listen. See, I got knock yourself out, and when you finally come to terms with your slovenly self, then we can chat, because I'm not going to sit here and deal in emotional drivel. I talked about that last night. I've been there. I've been up and down the highest lows, and Rory, boy, you see me at some of my lowest lows, didn't you? So did Santo. Holy shit, is a whiny bit. But anyway, getting back to the second point of this, I'm okay with me. Fuck, I can see my contrasts. That's what I do. Do you also tell them not to pay their bills? Fuck no. I don't tell them that. You don't want to.
You're listening to Santos Bonacci live on Syncretism here on criticalmassradio.co.uk. As above and so below is the holy science you need to know, astrotheology, because now it's our turn. You're listening to Kate of Gaia on Critical Mass Radio. The game is up. Now, it's our turn.
And welcome to Friday night Syncretism with Santos Bonacci, and yours truly sitting in co-helm, Kate of Gaia. Wow, what an awesome now. Yeah, boy, oh boy. Of course, perfect timing. Phone going off in the background as always. Anyway, yeah, we have. We had Rory called in last night, Santo, and I wanted to touch on this before we got rolling, and I'm waiting for him to call in so I can see him on the board and he can share his little adventure today. Oh, let me see. Did I get him? There he is. So we'll bring him in now. Little adventure, and it's been a while since I talked to Rory. He called in last night, of course, as standard protocol for everyone to. I've got court tomorrow. I better phone in and find out if there's something else I need to know. So isn't it fun that Isn't it fun that how many of you guys out there waited till the last fucking minute to get your school projects together? Come on, put your hands up. It's like night before and you're panicking with your, you're sweating and you're running and you're shitting yourself and you're this, that, and the other. And of course, I always got an A+. It didn't matter to me. A lot of times I would do it ahead of time and just tweak it as I went, but that was me. But yeah, there was lots of times I left shit to the last second, and it's kind of a Gemini trait, so I learned to break that one easy. But I think there's going to be a slight difference in Rory's tone tonight as opposed to last night, and I should have downloaded that and snipped some clips out of it just for those beautiful moments, Roro, just to show you how powerful you are. Now, here, before we get going here, this is why I want you in early, and we'll set the show with a bang here, and then Santo can take us to the stars. What Rory did, and Rory's going to confirm this. I'm going to, without knowing any of the details, I just know he went in and got escorted out. So here's what I want people to focus on right now, because I'm going to tell you this. A piece of paper with writing on it is not going to save you. A piece of paper with legal writing on it is not going to save you, and it's going to keep you in the matrix. There are three things I talk about. It's actually only two, but it comes out in a trinity. But I do like to share this just one more time because it's starting to sink in. With court, there are only three things you need to worry about: presumption, assumption, and intent. You see, the presumption is a forethought. The assumption is the contract. And the intent, well, gosh darn, if you can rule the assumption and presumption, you can pick whatever intent you want out of your little bag of tricks, right, Black Magi? That's what I thought. So I don't play their games. But the most important thing here for people to get, no amount of paperwork I can put together, and it's some dangerous stuff to this system. It's the most dangerous stuff on the planet as far as I can tell. And I'm speaking from experience. I'm not speaking because it's like, oh, look at me. No. Listen, I don't give a shit about me. I'm here for truth, and that's it.